Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're dialing in from. Welcome to the Aforza Winter 25 release webinar, focused on boosting productivity and making smarter decisions everywhere with vertical AI-powered processes for the consumer goods industry. Now, what do we have in store today? So, I'm joined by Nick Eales, our Chief Product and Technology Officer. And today I'm going to be walking you through some fun updates on Aforza with some customer recognition to all of you on the call today, an introduction to Ava, to anyone who hasn't met her yet, and an overview of the Studio Marketplace and the Business Process Library, which we released last year. Then I'm going to be handing over to Nick, who's going to be taking us through the Winter 25 release demonstrations, that's the exciting bit. And he's going to give a quick update on our product strategy at Aforza and our roadmap. Then the release themes, what we've really focused on with this release, and then the demonstrations. And I'll hand it back over to me, and we'll cover how you can maximize value with Aforza's new release, how you can get started, and actually how you can train yourself with the Aforza Training Academy. And then at the end, there'll be some time for Q&A. So any questions you have, write them in the text box, and we'll get to them at the end, or we'll do our best to. So, just a recap to some of our newer customers, newer partners on the call, as an introduction to Aforza. We are a vertical software as a service company completely dedicated to consumer goods. So any products that you see in a restaurant, in a bar, in a cafe, in a supermarket, that's where we focus. And we help manufacturers, distributors at every route to market in their environment, whether that's planning, trade promotion management, to B2B, to retail execution, distributor management. We've got you covered. We connect your entire route to market together on one platform. Now, to everyone on the call, thank you. We're trusted by you, and we've got some fantastic partners all around the world. And to our newer customers, welcome. Thank you for being a part of this journey. To some of our earliest customers, I think this will be your 17th or 18th release by now, if not more. So thank you for being a partner with us for such an incredible journey. Now, Aforza is built on the shoulders of two cloud computing giants, Salesforce and Google Cloud, and we have offline mobile applications that work for iOS and Android. And as you can see, we cover really every channel, from DMS to field sales, B2B, to TPM, to planning, indirect and direct, whatever it is, we do have you covered. And we've introduced recently Aforza Vertical AI, Ava. And we're going to see throughout the demonstrations with Nick today how Ava permeates every aspect, every area of Aforza, and enhances productivity across all of these different channels. So if we look back, we have had a really fantastic year of success and innovation with you. We introduced Ava for Studio, which helps you gain really valuable insights from any photos, any contracts, any documents that you have within Studio. And we've now transacted billions of dollars worth of orders through Aforza, which I think is really quite amazing. Thank you for adopting Studio Marketplace, which is the industry's photo automation ecosystem, where we partner with really leading technology vendors in AI, in image recognition, in CRM, in messaging, and we bring it all together so you can get impact from a single photo that's uploaded by any of your teams or external sources. And you also make up our customers across 4 continents. The sun never sets on the Aforza software. I think it's over 50 plus countries now, which are, again, I think is amazing. So it's great to have everyone on this webinar today, and it's fantastic you're part of the Aforza family. And we've also been recognized by Gartner as a recommended vendor for TPM and RGM, revenue growth management, for consumer products goods for this year, which is fantastic, as well as receiving 11 best-in-class distinctions for the POI, the Promotion Optimization Institute, for retail execution and TPM, because very uniquely, Aforza is connected from planning all the way to execution. So really trusted by all of you, our fantastic customers, as well as external industry analysts as well. Now, to anyone who hasn't been introduced to Ava yet, let me make some formal introductions. This is Ava, and Ava stands for Aforza Vertical AI. And really, she's probably the best employee you've ever had or will have. She has spent her entire life working as a coach in the consumer products industry. She's the number one expert in commercial planning all the way to execution, and she consistently drives 10x productivity out of every channel, every team member she supports, which might seem like a lot, but just wait till you see the demonstrations. Now, she's got complete contextual knowledge of all of your customers, all of your routes to market, and she knows how to drive the most value out of all of your team. And here's the cool bit. She's never sick. She never goes to sleep. She never takes paid time off. She never goes on holiday. She's always on making perfect commercial decisions for you and your team. Now, Ava is very unique, and Ava can only exist because of the foundation that Aforza has delivered over the last few years. So as I mentioned, we're built on the shoulders of two cloud computing giants, Salesforce, with our industry data model, all of their APIs, their integrations and processes, as well as Google Cloud Platform, where we have all of our omni-channel engines that work online and offline, from promotion to planning to segmentation, as well as their fantastic computing power, and where we keep all of the file storage for Studio. Now, when you combine this with the business process library, which we rolled out last year, which is where you can build and implement perfect business processes for all of your market and roll them out seamlessly. You combine that with the Studio Marketplace, a photo automation hub where, like I said, we bring together technology partners in AI, CRM, in messaging, in image recognition, and we give it a boost so that you can get business impact from a single photo. And if you roll that to all of your channels, B2B, field sales, distributors, telesales, Ava sits in the heart of all of this and elevates everyone within your organization. Now, we've referred to Ava as a singular person, but she is orchestrating visit agents, sales agents, promotion agents, unique agents that are specialized in the processes that you need for those particular channels. For example, hey, Ava, I need you to reschedule all my visits. The visit agent has got you covered. Now, I think it's probably best if you see Ava in action, as well as all the other fantastic functionality that we've introduced as part of this Winter 25 release. So I'm going to hand over to Nick, who's going to take us through some of our product strategy, the roadmap, for diving into the demonstrations. So Nick, are you there? Over to you.
Thank you, Callum, and good morning, good afternoon to everyone joining us here on the Winter 25 release webinar. My name is Nick Eels. I lead technology and product at Aforza, and I'm really excited today to showcase some of our newer innovations and features that we really think are going to drive value for your business. Before I get into the demonstrations and the new features, I want to talk about our product strategy and our roadmap a little bit. So, as always, a huge thank you to you, our customer, for providing the use cases, the feedback, everything that you do gives us great insights into how we drive our product forward. Along with those pieces of feedback from yourself, we also look at technology and innovation in general and see how we can use cutting edge stuff like AI to drive real value for you as a business in our product. Now, when I was looking back at our release roadmap and how we managed it, you can really bucket it into 4 key phases. The first phase for us was omnichannel execution. This was about doing your visits and your audits. This was about doing your guided surveys. It was about creating offline mobile orders, key account management, telesales. Really, it was about giving you the flexibility to run your business across all platforms simultaneously. And then as we looked into phase 2, this was really focused around more promotion management and insights and optimization. So it included things like the promotion designer, being able to do promotion optimization and analytics, being able to execute your promotions in the field, whether it's B2B, field sales, or Telesales, and then also be able to do guided selling using those promotions. And then phase 3, which was our prior phase of releases, was really around photo automation. So this introduced Aforza Studio for capturing photos in the field, for containing all of your digital assets, whether that's promotion brochures or contracts, and then being able to run business workflows off those and do product identification and share of shelf. And finally, I wanted to talk about the newest phase, and you're going to see the start of that today with this release. And that is the 4th phase of vertical AI. So it's about taking all of the great things we've had in the past through phase 1, 2, and 3, and adding AI on top of them to make them essentially supercharged. So gone are the days of how to click through menus and how to really dig down to find a specific piece of information. Vertical AI is about surfacing all of that in a really easy to use fashion for all of your users. And we'll get into a bit more detail about what we're doing in this space as I go through the features. I also highly recommend you watch our Ava Vertical AI launch webinar that we hosted a couple weeks ago, where it goes through a bit of a deep dive in everything we're doing. So everything you're going to see today, we're kind of enhancing with this vertical AI, but you're also going to see some what we would call traditional features, which are enhancements to those phase 1, 2, and 3 capabilities. So, fantastic. Right, so there's 3 key areas that I want to talk about today in the Winter 25 release. These are the themes that we're really following when building out the features. So the first is about boosting productivity across all of your channels, all of your use cases. So this is where I'm talking about Ava. So Ava is your vertical AI assistant, and she can be accessed through the field application, through the studio application, or in standalone apps, and she's there to help you essentially do your job. Whether that is visit execution, whether it's order capture, whether it's key account management, whether it's promotion planning, she is there to offer advice, guidance, and also do critical actions, making you much, much more productive in your day-to-day responsibilities. The second key theme was around smarter decision making. So in the last phase, we introduced Aforza Guides, and Guides has been hugely popular. We've got, I think almost all of our customers are now using it and transacting 10,000s of guides a day. And we saw that, and we wanted to continue to enhance it to give you more and more features for that. So in Guides in this release, you're going to see things like the ability to do photo automation and photo analysis directly from a guide. You're going to be able to see the ability to have KPIs surfaced within the guide. And then you're also going to be able to see the ability to now trigger smart actions, giving you greater flexibility about the type of information that can be surfaced and accessed within that guide. And then finally, it was about streamlining our applications and our execution. So as you know, a huge part of Aforza's product suite is our offline retail execution application, Aforza Field. And to date, we've been using what's called the Salesforce development kit to do all of the synchronization behind the scenes. Well, in this release, we're introducing the new Aforza development kit, which actually is going to speed up and make it much more reliable when using our mobile application. So no matter if your connection drops or you've got a weak signal, the speed of your synchronizations is going to increase significantly. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So those are the themes we're following. And now I want to take you through a couple of the key features, or a few of the key features, I should say, in a bit more detail. And then after that, we're going to go straight into a demonstration so you can see all of this actually working in the system. So if you just bear with me for a few more slides, I'm going to give you some talking points about these features, and then we'll go into those demos. So the first thing I want to talk about is Ava, or Aforza Vertical AI. So we had Ava in the last release. It was predominantly in your studio application. In this release now, Ava is everywhere. So Ava is in field, Ava is in a standalone application on both mobile and web, and Ava can also be used from your planning application on the Salesforce platform. So Ava is going to be able to surface insights. She's going to be able to tell you critical things about your promotions, your performance, any claims that need processing, any invoices that are overdue. She'll have access to all of that information, and she'll be able to tell you about that so you never miss anything. She's going to be able to take actions for you. So Ava will be able to create orders. She'll be able to predict an order for you. she'll be able to reschedule your visits and schedule new visits. She'll be able to create notes in the system. So she's going to have access to all of this information and all of these actions, meaning that you can now use Ava to do a lot of the use cases that you would typically do manually before. So this is really important because obviously it's going to make you much more productive. It's going to increase the efficiency of your team significantly, and everyone's going to be able to make smarter decisions because Ava's going to be giving them the right insights at the right time. On our next slide here, I want to talk a little bit about guides and our studio analysis capability. So before, if you were taking a photo as part of a guide, you would then have to do a synchronization. That photo would get sent to Studio, and Studio would then use someone like Neuralabs or Parallel Dots or one of our other image recognition partners to do the product identification or the share of shelf analysis. Well, now Studio can actually do that analysis in real time as part of your guided process. So as long as you have an internet connection at the time, you can send that photo directly from the guide to be analyzed and surface the information in the guide. That means your sales reps can go and take a photo, press a button, and see the share of shelf insights immediately, and then carry on the process. So really super valuable, because now those decisions that you're making based on the share of shelf and the products you've spotted in the image can now be made immediately by the sales rep instead of having to be done after the fact. The other new capability we've added in guides is our KPIs. So you might have used our KPIs within your visit dashboards or your homepage dashboards. Now these KPIs can also be added directly into a guide. So again, as you're going through your process, you can display important critical information in the form of charts and dashboards to your users. And as the users update the information within the guide, a new KPI could be added in there with the updated figures. So again, this is helping you make smarter decisions, faster decisions. It's helping you drive action based on data, right, and enhance your efficiency. All of this is about making your reps that use guides as smart as possible in terms of the decisions they're making. So even if they're a brand new rep, they're able to act as if they've been with the company for years and years. And then finally, the last thing we've added to guides is something called Smart Actions. Now, you might be aware of Smart Actions. They let you do things like get real-time inventory checks, do real-time credit checks, basically any sort of real-time call-out or a bit of logic you want to do. Smart Actions can do that, and they're typically used in the order capture process or during a visit. They can now be used directly in a guide as well. So all of that processing, all of that real-time insight can be pulled back into a guide and it can be used to make decisions. So across the board, guides have got massive enhancements. So I'll give you a demonstration of all these features so you can see them in detail. The next thing I want to talk about is our next-gen Telesales user interface. So Telesales was one of the first things we built back in phase 1, and we've had customers asking for much more configurability in it, and we've heard you, and we've decided to build out a brand new interface for Telesales that is available to use today. Now, don't worry, the old interface is still there. You can still continue to use it. You don't have to do anything. But if you want to move over to the new one, it's now available to use in this release. So what does this new interface give you? It lets you customize the information you're displaying. So any product information, any information about the customer's stock levels or pricing, that can all be displayed directly on the Telesales screen now, which is extremely beneficial and useful. The UI is also much quicker to use. So you can tab around it, you can click on it, and it will respond immediately, extremely quickly. So our old interface was already pretty quick. This is even faster. So again, it's about making your reps, your call center agents, your sales agents as efficient as possible and as quick as possible. So that's really cool. And then we're coming to the end now, I promise. We're going to get to the demos very shortly. The next element is our visit scheduler. So the visit scheduler is essentially a calendar or team view calendar that you can have within the Aforza Field application. So this can be used by individual users to view their visits and their calendar events. They can change the visits from there. They can schedule new visits from there. But also more importantly, it can also be used by sales managers to view an entire team's worth of events. So you could have 5 of your team members on the calendar at the same time, and you can see what they're doing, and you can swap things around and make changes and amendments as you need to while in the field. Again, this is great because it simplifies scheduling. It is a very, very intuitive interface. It also pulls in information about your teams and about their events. So you have a really holistic view as to what everyone's doing in the system, which is great. So your planning will be a lot better with this. Right, last thing, and then we get to the demos. And I thought I wanted to talk about this in a little bit more detail because it's so important. And that is our new Aforza development kit. We're calling it Field 25, the new app. And what this is doing is it's going to significantly improve your synchronization time, but also act as a platform for future development by us at Aforza to make the application even better. So what do I mean by that? Our old sync architecture, this is going to get a bit technical, but just bear with me. So our old sync architecture was using the Salesforce development kit. And this is something Salesforce provides all their partners. And it's based on quite old legacy technology. It hasn't really been updated very well over the past years. So it's still very, quite old in terms of the versions it's using of the technologies. And we at Aforza would use this to do our synchronization. So we would say, Salesforce, we need to pull down a visit. And the Salesforce development kit would go and handle that for us. It would go and find the visit. It would download it. It would add it into the database. It would do that sort of stuff. We had very, very limited control over how it would work. So we would build optimizations around it, which is why Aforza is as quick as it is. But at the same time, we were limited in what we could do. So that would, for 200 records, you were looking at maybe a 30-second sync time on certain devices and certain connectivity. Well, a year ago, we decided, we need to break away from that. We need to build our own to make it even more efficient, faster for our users. So that's why we built Field 25. And Field 25 essentially removes the Salesforce development kit and puts our brand new Aforza one in there instead. This gives us full control over how the data is downloaded, how we authenticate, how we store the data, how we make the requests. So that all sounds great, but what does that mean? Well, it means your speed of synchronization is going to go down by 300%. It's going to be 3 times faster. So instead of 30 seconds to sync 200 records, it would now be 8 seconds, as an example. So you should see speed increases like this automatically using the new Field 25 architecture. So extremely, extremely quick. The other great thing about this is in the future, you're going to see in the coming releases, we're going to be able to introduce things like background synchronization, conflict resolution, and a lot of other really core synchronization technologies that Salesforce just wasn't able to do using that development kit. So I'm really excited about this. It's going to make your app much faster, much more reliable, and we're extremely excited to see people start using it. Now, in this first release, if you want to use Field 25, it will be available as a separate app on the App Store. So you don't have to change to it if you don't want to in this release. It's there for you to use if you want to. And if you want to talk to us about it, we can tell you how it works. But you can run that app alongside your existing Aforza application, and they will both work absolutely fine. Okay, demonstration time. Let's get into the demos. So I'm going to do 3 demonstrations today. They're going to be focused on different use cases. The first use case I'm going to talk through is a sales manager who's trying to maximize his team performance. So Hector is the persona we're going to be taking on, and Hector is about to go into the field to shadow some of his team members. So he's got his iPad, he's got a Aforza Field, and he's going to look at their calendars and to understand where he's going to be going today and where he wants to visit. And he's also going to be notified when he's on that calendar or see on the calendar that one of his team members is off sick. So he's going to use the calendar to just quickly reschedule some visits. He might use some Ava or some vertical AI to help him do that. And then he's going to add some information to those visits as well to notify his sales team about what they should be doing. So let's start with this demonstration. Let me just grab my iPad here and get straight into it. So here I am on my iPad using Aforza Field, and I'm logged in as Hector, And Hector is going to be shadowing his teams today. So he's going to be going to different visits with his team members. So on the homepage, he can use all of the standard console controls like the today's route, competitor alerts, brand catalog, etc. So he's got access to all of that. But what he wants to do today is go to his calendar so he can check both his normal weekly visits and also his team's visits so he can shadow them. So he's going to click through to the new visit scheduling calendar. So on the calendar, Hector immediately gets a view of all of the different visits or events that he's scheduled personally to do this week. From the calendar, he can click into any of these events or visits, and he can see the details of the event, who's scheduled to be there, and the tasks that need completing. From the screen, the event can be changed, it can be cancelled, or notes can be added to it as well. Back on the calendar, Hector can swap through the different views. So for example, he can go into a schedule view where he can see specifically all the things that he has to do in a schedule. He can also go to, so for instance, a 3-day view, the week view, which we just saw, a month view, and he's going to go to the day view for now. But today is not about doing his visits, it's about shadowing his team and understanding what his team is doing and how they're performing. So he's going to swap over from the personal calendar view to his team view. And when he does that, he's now allowed to pick additional users that he wants to see from his team. So he can go into the users and he's going to select some of the team members that he's planning on following today. So he's got Lily and Thomas, etc. And now when he does that, his team's calendars also get added directly here as well. So he can see all of the visits that are being performed, and they're all color-coded based on the user that is performing those visits. And just like his visit before, he can click into any of these, and when he does, he can see details of that visit and who's performing it. And if he has the permissions, he can make changes. So in this case, he's actually been told that Lily is off sick today. So Lily is the yellow visits here, so you can see there's 3 visits scheduled for Lily. And he wants to make sure that those customers are looked after and they are added correctly to one of his other team members' calendars. So he could go in and he could manually change these one by one in a similar way to how I just showed you. But in this case, he's going to use Aforza's vertical AI assistant Ava to do it for him. So he's going to open up Ava on the bottom left, and Ava will then appear in this chat window where I can type or talk to ask Ava to do something for me. So for example, I can say, please move Lily's visits to, let's give them to Thomas today. And now what's happening is Ava's going away, she's looking up Lily's visits, she's looking up Thomas's agenda, and she's going to move them over. Amazing. So just like that, Ava has taken Lily's visits and transferred them all to Thomas. So we can see they've all been added there. Now, that's fantastic, but of course Thomas doesn't know anything about these customers. So one of the things we can do is ask Ava to add some summaries or notes to the visits so that Thomas is a bit more prepared. So I could say, add some notes to those visits so Thomas knows the priorities. All right, fantastic. So we've added some notes to those visits. So now when Thomas goes and starts executing those visits, he's got the notes saying what he needs to do. Whether it's discussing objectives or focusing on collecting orders or doing stock audits, all of those details are now added automatically. So Ava was able to do that by going away, looking at the visit details, looking at the accounts, looking at the history, figure out what should be the priority for those visits, and then adding them as notes on the visit. Cool. So all of that was done using the new visit scheduler. It was done using Ava, and it really shows the power of how someone like Hector, a sales manager, can go in and very easily and quickly modify his calendar, modify his team's calendars, and understand what the team is doing. Let's go into demonstration 2 now, where we can take a look at how Thomas would execute one of those visits using some of the new features. Okay, so in the second demonstration, we're now going to take on the role of Thomas. So after he's been assigned those visits by his manager, he wants to go and execute those visits using a Aforza field to do his different tasks. So Thomas is covering for that sick colleague, and he's going to ask Ava to help coach him on what to do during that visit. Thomas is then going to use a guide to actually, step through that visit process step by step, where we're going to see some of those new guide features, like the real-time KPIs, the studio analysis, and the smart actions. And then we're going to finally, after all of that, we're going to ask Ava to actually help us create a new order for that customer when we know they need to place a new order. So we're going to see a variety of different things from this release that are going to help Thomas be more efficient and be more effective while he's doing his visit execution. So let's get started with the demonstration. So I'm logged into the Aforza Field app again. This time as Thomas. This time I'm using my phone instead of the tablet, just so you can see the different experience. And I can see the route I've been scheduled today, thanks to Hector sending me the additional visits. And I'm going to jump straight into that first visit for today, the Baxter Bars Northwest. So when I click View Visit, I come to my visit screen, as you could expect. And I'm going to check in. And by checking in, it starts my visit. Now, as I scroll down, this is an account I'm not familiar with. I can see a bunch of information, the account balance, the tasks I need to complete, objectives for the visit, visit store shelf assets, order history, guide results, so lots and lots of stuff, right? But this isn't my customer, so I'm not really familiar with all that, and I don't want to spend all my time looking through that information. So instead, I can now ask Ava directly in the app, what is it I should be doing? So right here at the top of the visit, I can see there's a Visit Intelligence button. And if I click that, it's going to open up the Visit Intelligence loading screen, and it's going to ask Ava for some help. So what Ava is now doing is looking at the visit, looking at the account, and getting the data necessary to provide us with that guidance. Awesome. So Ava's come back, and she's given us the top 5 things I should focus on during this visit, which to me as a rep not familiar with them is great. So I can see there's some invoices due, so we should talk about those. There are some compliance issues with their current stock. There are no account plans, but there are some objectives I need to meet. There's orders that are currently in draft status. Basically, it's just gone through and it's found anything and everything that might be relevant for this visit, and it's then prioritized those based on the intelligence of Ava and the rules that my company has. So that's amazing. Now I know exactly what I need to do. Thomas is able to kind of go and execute that. So as Thomas is going about his visit, he's going to start doing some of his tasks, and one of the tasks he has to do is look for compliance issues that the customer has. So Thomas is going to click on the compliance task, and within that task, the first thing he's going to see is a couple of different KPIs, which is pretty cool. So these KPIs are showing the compliance score of the customer. So we can see the total compliance of 53%, and it goes into details about the different areas that are compliant or not compliant. I can click View Expanded to see that table in more detail, and now I can see that the products, the pricing, location, and merchandise and promotions are all low. Merchandise is actually really compliant. So now we have a better understanding of where the issues are. I can also now see Ava Smart Actions directly in here. So In this case, I could ask Ava for some insights on compliance and what we might do to improve it. But this could be any type of smart action. So this could be a live inventory check. It could be absolutely anything you want. So I'm going to go to the next screen now. And on this next screen, it's going to ask me for some information. So we know what compliance was like last time we were there, but now Thomas needs to capture the updated details. So there's some kind of manual audit questions he can answer about shelf location and pricing, etc. But what it's also asking me to do is capture a photo of the shelf as it exists today. So I click capture, I can take a new photo. In this case, I'm just going to upload a photo I've got ready here of the shelf. And it's going to upload that. And now when it's uploading, I can click analyze. And immediately I can start analyzing this photo using Aforza Studio for products, for share of shelf, for text, anything I might need to look at. So in just a few seconds, it will be analyzed. There we go. And we can see the analysis complete for both of those, and I can click into them, and I can see now the product facings it's detected. In this case, we've used the partner Neuralabs to do that. And I can also see the share of shelf that was identified. Really cool. So now as a user, Thomas is able to start making some decisions based on that share of shelf, based on the products identified. He hasn't had to wait until later to be able to do that. So Thomas has now entered information. He's got the share of shelf and the product identification done. But again, he's not familiar with this account. He might be quite new as well. So he's not really sure what needs to be done to fix these compliance issues. So again, Ava's here and Ava can help us. So Thomas can click on this shelf suggestions button, and Ava's now going to go away and she's going to look at the data that we've input, but she's also going to look at the image we've uploaded to gather those insights and to make some suggestions. Really cool. So here are the suggestions Ava's given us. So currently the share of shelf is below the target of 60%. So we need to maximize that shelf space to improve that compliance. It's gone through the product distribution. It's gone through promotion compliance. Now, one of the things she's mentioned on promotion compliance is that we've got a rule where King and Duke products cannot be on the same shelf. And because she's analyzed that photo and because she's analyzed the data that we've provided, she's able to tell that actually there's a compliance breach here and these need to be rectified for that customer to be compliant. So that's great, Thomas can do that. She's also gone to list some white space opportunities, and helpfully she's also provided some links to the images. So if I click on product identification, it shows us the image we uploaded but with all the products identified. So that's really, really useful. Cool. So now Thomas has had some great ideas and great suggestions on what needs to be done to maximize that compliance. He can go and do those and action them. And when he does that, he gets the updated compliance score directly in the guide. Fantastic. So even though this is a brand new customer for Thomas, even though he's never been there before, he doesn't know some of the compliance rules, he was able to actually get the priorities for that visit and then execute a compliance process and update that shelf in real time as an expert would. Now, the very last thing Thomas wants to do while at this visit today is create a new order for the customer. So he could go to the orders tab, he could create the new order and kind of manually add the items. But in this case, he's going to ask Ava again to help him. So he can click on the Ava button at the bottom, which is going to open up our Ava chat again. Now, Ava knows what we are doing. So she knows we're executing a visit. She knows what customer we're speaking to. So I could simply say, please predict a new order for this customer. It's always handy to be polite to AI when you talk to it. Wow, amazing. So Ava was able to go away and she's actually predicted the order that this customer would place today. So we can see she's added a bunch of those Duke products, a bunch of those King products, and some of the Queen ones as well. So she knows what they typically order, and how much this total order would be. So this is just a draft at the moment. She hasn't actually gone and created the order. She's just provided the prediction. So she's asking, would we like to confirm that order? So we're going to say yes. Okay, so the order's been created. The order's been added into the system. We've got the order number. We've got the total amount now with the discounts being applied correctly as well. And if I scroll down, I actually get a little graphical card showing me the order details with all the product images and how much they cost, so that I can easily click through to the order and make some adjustments if I need to. Now behind the scenes, that order has been added to the system. It's been put in as something to review, so we'll be able to see it in the Telesales in the next demonstration. And if the customer is obviously happy with it, we can go and proceed with it. But that's adding the extra efficiency to the process there for the user, and making your selling smarter as well. Great. So in that demonstration, we saw how Thomas was able to proceed with a visit that he normally wouldn't do. And even though he doesn't know that account, he was given expert advice by Ava on what he should do. And then he was able to use the new guides features to go through and see real-time KPIs to help him with compliance, take photos and have them analyzed in real time using studio analysis, and then use smart actions to provide guidance again from Ava on what he should be doing based on the information that he's found in the field. And then lastly, we saw Ava is able to automatically create an order and predict an order for a customer for Thomas. So let us move to our last and final demo scenario where we're going to look at the new Telesales experience. Okay, so in this last demonstration, we're going to look at Sophie, and Sophie is a sales manager. And Sophie's job is to go through all of the orders in the system and make sure that they are correct, and also upsell customers as well. So we're going to see how Sophie can analyze a customer account, how she can use the new Telesales experience to create or modify an order, and then how she can go and complete that order as well. So let me dive into the demo here. All right, so we're logged into the Aforza, this time in the web experience as Sophie. And Sophie is looking at Baxter Bars Northwest. So this was the account or the customer that we were just visiting as Thomas. And she can see all the details about this customer, the balance, the outlet assets, the order history. And then importantly, she can also see the previous visit was performed by Thomas. And she can see the last completed order that's just come in today as well. So let's go ahead and click on that order. And on the order screen, there's a couple key things we can see. The first is obviously the order customer, and then the amount of the order and the commission, etc. But also we can see that the order was actually created by Ava. So whenever Ava does something in the system, whether it's creating something or rescheduling something, it's always tracked as an action by her, so that we can then add we can then create a review queue so that anything Ava does, we can manually review it as a human if we need to afterwards. So everything's tracked and auditable. So this order looks good, but the customer, I know the customer has asked for a few additional items to be added. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the new Telesales experience. So on here, I can see all the details of the order that I need. Now it's split into two main sections. We've got the catalog, which is what I'm looking at now, and then we've got the cart, which we'll come on to at the end of the order. And the catalog displays all of the products, promotions, and bundles that are available to sell to this customer. It also displays the current amount that we've got in the cart. So this is the order that Ava created with all of these predicted products added in as well. Within the catalog, we can see stock levels, we can see promotions that a product belongs to. So if I click on one of these items, it will actually show me the promotion that this particular piece of merchandise or product belongs to, and I can add it directly from here. It will also show me the order history. So I can click on any of these and it will show me the quantities ordered for the past orders of this SKU. So that if I wanted to just repeat one of these, I could easily do it, or I could click into the order to see the details of it. Then lastly, I can also see the recommended products. So these are the upsell opportunities I have from adding this product. So I can say, okay, based on the fact that they've bought this Duke Fresh blend, we recommend that we add some of these Duke Premium as well. The really interesting thing about this catalog is it can be configured and customized. So these columns can all be changed. So if you don't want to see promotions or recommended, you can get rid of them, and instead you can put more information, like maybe the on-shelf stock amount based on the last audit, or some descriptive information about the product. It's completely up to you, and you can add any field you want. We also have searching and filtering. We have access to Ava directly from here as well. So all of that is available in the catalog. Now, what I want to go ahead and do is add a branded fridge freezer. The customer's asked for some branded merchandise to be added in this order. So I'm going to add one of those to the cart. And you'll see that as I add it, it's all extremely quick, and I can keep adding things. And behind the scenes, then the cart pricing is updating to give us the discounts and the taxes and everything. Now, once I'm happy with the modifications I've made to this order, I can click through into the cart. And this will load up the cart, and it will show all of the detailed summary information about this order. So I can see all the products that were added, the different bundles and discounts that have been applied, the ones that have been added as free granted items. All of this is available for me to review. I can click on any of these to go into detailed discount information. So I can see that a 10% discount was applied, and then there's a VIP bulk purchase discount applied. And I can even go ahead and add on a discretionary additional manual discount as well, depending on the rules. So once I'm happy with all that, I can review the summary on the right, and I can continue to check out and place that order. So with just a few clicks, I was able to go from reviewing an account to looking at a predicted order from Ava to making some modifications and completing that order. So very, very simple, streamlined process, very efficient, but very powerful as well. Okay, I've talked enough. Let me finish the demonstrations there. Just to recap, what you saw today was 3 key demonstrations of our new features. The first being the modification and the management of a sales team via the new visit scheduler, and how you use Ava to kind of complement that as well. The second was looking at performing a visit using some of the new studio and guide elements, and also using Ava as a way to enhance that experience and provide insights. And then lastly, we looked at the telesales experience and how that can be leveraged to quickly and efficiently create or modify orders in the system. So a lot of really interesting things there, a lot of really good enhancements. Hopefully you've seen something that'll be useful to you as a business. We think there's a lot of value in a bunch of the stuff we've shown. And we'd be more than happy to talk about these in detail and to kind of give a more one-on-one demonstration if you'd like as well. So with that, I think I'll hand it back to Callum to finish off our webinar today. Callum, are you still there?
Wow. Thank you, Nick. Awesome. We can see there's a lot of questions that have come in through the demonstrations, so I'm going to get to those in just a moment. But if you want to see any other demonstrations, we have an ever-expanding, ever-developing demo center. So you can check it out at the link there or scan the QR code, and you can see all of the demonstrations on different channels, by personas, by use case, as well as different tours. So there can be videos or click-through paths, and get yourself more familiar with some of the other functionality of Aforza. Now, this is just the beginning. So we're already looking forward to the next release, but if you want to see all of the information, such as the release notes, the user guides, a recording of this webinar is going to be on this winter release page here. So you can go to this URL. Again, you can scan the QR code if need be, and all of the information that you need will be on this page. Now, if you want to become experts on Aforza, we have the Aforza Training Academy, where you can elevate your skills with comprehensive training programs. We've got courses on retail execution, trade promotion management, Aforza Studio, analytics, Ava. Check out the QR code now, and it'll give you the latest training schedule, which you can sign on for. And you can showcase your commitment to success with these Aforza certifications. Now, One final point before we get to Q&A, and I think this is really important, is that because you're all customers today, it means Ava can just be turned on in your orgs and start driving productivity across all of your teams. So if you're interested in benefiting from the business value of Ava, speak to your customer success manager. Let's hone in on your use cases, which are linked to business value. We can make sure Ava is set up in the right way, and you can start benefiting from her vertical AI power today. So I can see there's quite a few questions that have come in through the demonstrations. Nick, are you there to help answer some of these?